everyone, it's Tracy. Just want to show you some techniques that I use on the winter holly berry design. So you can see here that I've already started some of the painting. I have my berries, I have some of the holly that I've put in, and I'm going ahead with my number 12 flat, and for this technique I'm just going ahead and adding a little bit of the sapphire mixed with some blending gel. The sapphire blue is just a nice little versatile adaptation that I can add to this design, and I just wanted to show you how I'm going to do this. I fill up the brush with a little bit of blending gel and a little bit of paint, and I'm going to slowly work that in, but I want it to be sort of light, so I'm going to make sure that it doesn't go on too dark. I want it to be really subtle, so I'm going to test that out. Once I get it to the way I want it, then I'm ready to go ahead and shade around the ornament. I like this blue. It's an analogous color to the green that I'm using, so I'm able to really be able to use this to accent the design. I'm just going to go ahead and work my way all around the design. Once the initial shading is dry, I'm able to go in and I want to show you how I may use some more different types of styles of shading with a mop and then back with my shading number 12. With the mop, I go ahead in and add just a little bit here and there, kind of like blotch it in, if you will, mop it in with a little bit extra blending gel. And I'm able to go in and add a little bit here and there to even accent in between some of the leaves as well. It just helps to soften up the design. I find that often I go back in and I'll use my number 12 again, and if you look at how I'm loading the brush this time, I'm using it as a T. I've already got blending gel here in the sapphire, but I'm going to go ahead in with the other part of the puddle, if you will, or the paint trail, and I'm going to pull it in to my brush because it's already got a good amount of blending gel already on it, and I can take some of that and use that to my advantage, and I can go directly right over the design as I spoke about. It really helps bring in some more softness, some more roundedness, and it really accents the design even more. I like to really get this to exactly the way I want it. As it dries, I do let this dry in between layers, and then I may go in really often and add more, as you can see. Like right now, I'm just going to go ahead in and soften up maybe some lines that I see in there from a little bit too much gel. I'm able to pick up and lift off and blend it right into my design. The blending gel medium really helps me in doing this. As you can see, I sort of sneak in even some sapphire shading in between the leaves, so it really helps bring out the design even more. In my pattern, I mention about using those Q-tips to go ahead and add those white little snowballs. They're a lot of fun, and I just wanted to show you how I quickly go in and might add a few and make them pretty rounded. These are the safety Q-tips that I spoke about in my group and then on the pattern, and they're really easy to use. What a perfect way to just go in and lighten up a design. I'm not exactly sure if you can see that too closely, but that's exactly how I do it. A lot of fun and very easy. You can also use these to do the red ones here too. After I've let the pattern sit for quite a while, I want to make sure that those are really dry and the pattern is stable. I want to go ahead in and add in my pine needles now. I have pretty much the design pretty much stabilized where I know where I want to kind of put things. So I'm going to use a 10-0 liner with either water or color float mixed in with my paint, and I'm going to lightly add in here and there very slowly and stepping back at the pattern to see where more I want to put some more or maybe take out a little bit, but that's what I'll do at this point. So because you're not working with a line drawing or anything, because this pattern's so easy and it's so intuitive, just remember to kind of step back a little bit and look to see where you might want to add in the pine needles. One tip I can give you is when I'm trying to add in the pine needles, trying to think of where I want to put them, I kind of start with looking at the berries and in which direction I might want the little pine needles to go, and that kind of helps me. So I waited patiently for this to dry, and now it's time to add some fun stuff. Some little tiny white dots, little snowies, little snowballs to the design. I'm just going to use a stylus, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop in a few here. The design's all dry, and I'm able to go ahead and fill up my number 12 flat with some blending gel and some Snow White, and I'm going to add in more shading, and this time I'm going to use the white like I said, and I'm going to just slowly add in very light layers all the way around the ornament. This is going to soften up the design. You don't have to do this. I know that sometimes I don't. Sometimes a client won't want it as soft. They like the real bright, vibrant colors. I love that too. Sometimes I'll accent with a 10-0 liner on some of the holly leaves. That's really pretty. But for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and show you how I shade in and give that frosty effect that I've done on my Shabby Rose designs and some of my others. Besides the flat that I also use my mop, and I'll fill that up with some blending gel because it makes it a little bit more translucent, and I just kind of blot around the edges. That's another way to do it. And I can also blot around the holly itself and add some little snow sprinkles all over the place. That really seems to soften up the design as well. One other thing that helps to soften things up and add that kind of snowy effect is I go in with a 10-0 liner and I'll fill up without any blending gel or anything because I want straight pigment, straight paint on this. I go over some of the pine needles very lightly and add in just like they've been kind of kissed with some snow. That seems to be really pretty on this type of design. I also go in and might accent the berries a little bit more too. I wanted to share with you some examples of some of the things that I've done. This is the candy dish, and you can see right around the edges here how you can kind of sort of see the frosted areas. I did a little bit darker on some and lighter on others. Here you can see on the side here a little bit more of a frosted area. And this is an example of the ornament that I did. You can see the snowy areas that I did all around it, and the comparison to the blue one. You can see on the sides how I really emphasized it. It's a pretty little hanger to use. You can put your own design in the middle, initials, or a little Christmas saying. This is a very simple design, and you can make it any way you want. I really hope you get a chance to create this design and try it out for yourself. You can find it in my Etsy shop.